What is good, everyone, and welcome back to a new video. This is a kind of new, different format as you're usually used to me just talking to the camera and stuff like that. But for now, we're gonna do it this way for just this type of video. Usually, I'll do my seasonal videos a little differently, but just for anybody who doesn't want to hear the introduction to this, there will be timestamps in the video and chapters within the video. So if you want to skip to any of the seasonal anime for spring that you want to hear about, or my opinions about, you are free to go ahead and just skip to there. But let's go into the introductions. And first off, as you know, I haven't uploaded anything, like no shorts or long videos, for the past 2 weeks, and I haven't uploaded a proper video in about 3.5, almost basically a month. The short story to long version, work has been a hassle. Moving is on the plate of things. And life just kind of got in the way. But I'm kind of pushing through, kind of doing what I can. So we're back trying to make videos. Another thing was also daily uploads are something I can't personally do at all, whatsoever. So what's going to happen is that on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays will be upload schedule days. Those are going to be where I basically upload what I want at that time and basically explain whatever I want to. I'll go more into detail in potentially another post or sort of whatever. But yeah, right now we're getting into the spring 2023 stuff, and honestly, there's a lot of interesting things. I don't know if I would necessarily call them good or bad, but it seems like spring brings in the idea of just more different things. There are a couple isekais I looked at that I won't be reviewing for this season or for this series, which, if you didn't know, this series will be called Seasonal Sunday, where every week on Saturday we'll just recap it instead of just doing daily episode reviews where I sit down and I talk about each episode individually. I'll pretty much do it this way, where I'm not doing a full breakdown of what happened in the episode. I'm more just giving my general thoughts and ideas. But we could go ahead and just get right into the whole entire thing. I will also say this will be more of a mixture of a free form type format, weird thing, where it will be a slightly edited in terms of the audio, but at least the words I'll be hearing, not necessarily putting in the script. It's more going to be off the top of my head and or bullet points that I wrote down for this type of thing. So yeah, let's talk about what we're going to be reviewing for the spring 2023 seasonal Saturday version. Now, of course, the first anime that we're going to be talking about is in fact the one that everyone's going to be watching, the one anyone's mostly in terms of people really talking about things. The first thing that anybody's going to really talk about is in fact the Demon Slayer season 3, the Sword Village arc. And in my perspective, I read everything. I have read the manga. I have read through the entire series. I know there's a couple of light novels that came out since it's been finished and other type of products, but at least when it comes to the main story, this might be my least favorite arc. Now, don't get me wrong, before you get out your pitchforks and everything, let me at least explain myself. I do have a video that's coming out, hopefully this upcoming Monday, if not next Monday, for bringing back for our Manga Monday series, but to better explain what I think about the upcoming arc for Demon Slayer. The best way that I could explain it is that it kind of feels stale in a sense. Like, there are things that do happen, and obviously I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are things that do in fact happen. There are big things that happen, but in terms of the entire story, it feels like it's more of just a repeat of what the entertainment district was, minus Zenitsu and Inosuke, who aren't going to be in this arc, by the way. From what I remember, I don't know if they're changing it or anything else. I know that there is a movie that does have the first episode, the combination of like the last couple of episodes of the entertainment district, and then the first episode for the Sword Village arc. But I personally haven't seen it yet. I've been waiting for friends to actually go see it. But I don't know if they're going to add them. Because in the manga, they were not there. So I'm assuming, at least from what I've seen, it is just Tanjiro and Nezuko that are going to the Sword Village going to the Sword Village arc alongside the Mist Hashira and the Love Hashira. And this arc isn't bad. It does introduce characters that I do personally enjoy. I think the Love Hashira is fun. And there's other characters who I don't know if they have brought them up yet because of the first episode, but I'm going to say no. So I'm not going to bring up who exactly goes. But it just feels... Though when I read that arc, it just felt stale. Like it felt like we were just kind of rehashing things from the entertainment district, which is not, I will say, is not completely true, but it seems like they did it and tweaked a few things. I feel like Sword Village arc, when compared to the entertainment district arc, is definitely the kid in class who's just like, copy my homework, but make sure you tweak it a little bit. I will say that this upcoming arc is not going to be as good as the first season, although that's not saying much. Most first seasons of animes are going to be better than the majority of the rest, but I digress. This season, coming up, I don't know. I'll see how it is when it's animated, because I don't hate it. And to be fair, my big fear doesn't come from this arc. My big fear comes from future arcs that we will be potentially getting. But hopefully my Manga Monday video comes out on time. So if you want to learn more about that, you'll look out for that. Next up on the docket is going to be Hell's Paradise. And this one looks really good. Now, obviously, this one's made by MAPPA. Most things that MAPPA put out are going to be bangers. They almost never miss. But I do remember when watching a podcast before that Hell's Paradise was this, I think when people were talking about like potential big three stuff, I remember someone in some podcast that I was watching that talks about anime, they were talking about like the big three of dark fantasy for like this new era of anime and manga that's coming out. And the three that they brought up was Jujutsu Kaisen, which we already know is a banger, Chainsaw Man, which we already know is a banger, and the other one they brought up was Hell's Paradise. And I think this one is the one that they were talking about. Now Jujutsu Kaisen is fire, and Chainsaw Man is 100% fire. And when reading this one actually had like a pretty interesting premise. It wasn't like too out there, too insane, but it was fun. It was fun, and it's something that I would definitely watch. I watched the trailer, which is on screen right now, and that just looks amazing. Like, this is one where definitely people will look at it and be like, this will be something to talk about. This will be a banger for sure. Which is why it is currently on the list that we're going to be talking about. I'm going to have fun. Watching this. Hell's Paradise is going to be a fun, dark, interesting fantasy to watch. So I'm going to have fun with this. And we all are going to have fun with this. The next anime we're going to be talking about, and the one that we're going to be watching for the Spring 2023 seasonal Saturday, is going to be Oshi no Ko. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm gonna keep it 100 with all of you. There are only two things right now that are drawing me to this anime. First is the intro. And the intro is done by Yaosobi. Now, if you don't know who that is, first of all, where have you been? You've been under a rock. But Yaosobi is the same artist who did the song that I thought was an anime opening, but is not. I can't sing it, but she also did the second opening for Beastars. So if you look that up, that song's a banger. And then her most popular song that she did, which the comments will correct me if I am wrong. I think it's about either suicide or something really depressing that everyone just danced to on TikTok. But that song is undoubtedly just, it's a banger through and through. And then the second thing that drew me to this anime in particular was the eye design. if you follow my channel for a while, I did a whole video on the evolution of eye design and how like you can define eras of anime through eye design. It is partly a big reason why Fire Force has quickly become my favorite anime. Eye design to me has gotten the biggest glow up in the past couple of years, and no one talks about it, like at all. Like I think it's one of those like minute features where people see and it's just like, oh, whatever. But people do such crazy things with eye designs now. Like, it's outlandish, it's absurd, it's nowhere realistic, but it's still fun. And I love it. I love it. This anime does it, and I love it. If you have eye design like this or any kind of really good looking thing, you're 100% gonna at least get some of my interest. You're at least gonna get some of my interest. And Oshinoko does in fact. The premise itself is kind of interesting. Honestly, I'm not expecting to have too much fun with this anime. It'll be interesting. I'll see what it does. It looks like it could be something of note, but overall, sure. Like, it looks fun, but also, we'll see. We'll see. I'm here for the Yaosobi, and I'm here for the eye design, mostly. Up next, Ranking of Kings, The Treasure of Courage. Now, I love Ranking of Kings. It was my favorite anime when it came out. It was one of my favorite anime from this upcoming Anime Awards. However, I do believe it not should be nominated. Due to how late it comes out, that's a whole other issue, which we talked about in a podcast that hopefully will be out by the time that I make this video. But regardless, we're getting more Ranking of Kings. That is not bad at all whatsoever, because Ranking of Kings, that's a good show. And it's another one by Mappa. Like I said, it is hard for Mappa to miss at all. Does it miss? It does, but I'm not going to say it here. Regardless, Ranking of Kings is coming out with a new installment. And I say new installment because I don't know if this is supposed to be like a side story OVA or a direct sequel to the events of what happened in the second season. All I know is that there are characters and events that happen that do end up being shown or followed up here. For example, Hilfling adopting the suit of armor is still a thing. The woman being taken out of the mirror, she seems like she's now more of an associate and is now in relations with Boji's brother, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, potentially. The older dude, the big burly dude who protected Hilfling, his eye is gone. His eye is no longer there. So there are events and like markings and things that make it seem like whatever this takes place, whether this is an OVA or this is supposed to be a direct sequel to the Ranking of Kings series, which, given what I've seen from trailers and previews, looks like it is a direct sequel. It does at least take place after season 1, or at least after the events of season 1. So regardless, we're getting more Ranking of Kings, people. That is a dub in all the good ways. A dub in all good ways, and I am here for it, and I am there to enjoy it. Mashle is the next series that we're going to be talking about, and this is one of 3 anime this season that I actually watched the manga for. I was not expecting 3 mangas that I've recently read to be anime adapted this season. So that was actually a welcome surprise for me. At least in this case. Some, not many, but we'll get to that later. But Mashle is a funny manga. I enjoyed it. When I read it, it was absurd. It was goofy, albeit it does get kind of stale and kind of repetitive as the story drags out. But the first season, everything that happens in that beginning is so absurd and funny. Basically, the best way I can explain it is that Mashle is basically One Punch Man in the sense of just how strongly absurd he is. He's nowhere near that realistically, and I think there are things in the series that make it make it kind of bullshit. I haven't read that far just because I got distracted by other things and I stopped, which I do need to pick it up again. But it seems like we're going a lot deeper for this one than I thought it was going to be. And so it makes me think that this might be a 24 episode series, not a 12 episode one. Or the first season is going to be 24 episodes, potentially, not 12. Although I could just look up on Mahou and see what it is, since that's literally where all the information is. But I don't know if it's out yet, so we'll have to see. Either way, I am genuinely excited for Mashle. I think it'll be one of the sleeper hits that people look into. If not just talked about in general. I don't see people not talking about this. I would be surprised, baffled, flabbergasted beyond belief if this didn't get at least some notoriety this season. If it's not at least in that first 3 rows of Mahou, where Mahou sets up the anime by popularity when you go into the season. So the one that's at the first is obviously going to be like the most popular that's talked about currently, and then moves its way down. If it's not at least in that first 3 rows by the time the 3rd episode comes out, I will be surprised, like genuinely surprised, that people just looked at this and didn't consider it that funny. But I don't know, to each their own, I guess. I have high hopes for Mashle. I have confidence that Mashle can and will do what it needs to do to be funny and good. My Home Hero is the next anime that we're going to be talking about, and let me tell you, this was darker than I expected it to be. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know really what I was expecting going into this, but it came off as a lot more intense than I originally thought. Like, I thought it was going to be a more sadder, panicky type of stuff, but this was more of like an intense kind of, I don't want to say battle of wits. It's not a battle of wits, but it's definitely a battle of getting away with it. I don't even know how I would explain it. But regardless, My Home Hero actually seems like it could be a legitimate good sleeper hit. There's a lot of story that seems like it be told. The only thing that would be holding it back is execution. But even then, even from the trailer, it seemed pretty decent. It seemed pretty cool. It seemed fun. It's kind of like the Liam Neeson and John Wick movies, because the whole premise behind it is the dude's daughter is getting hurt by this boy, and this boy is part of a crime syndicate and he's also known for hurting his girlfriends. So the dude just fucking murks the boyfriend. This is not a spoiler. This is like in the synopsis of the whole thing. Like, this is in the synopsis and you see it within the trailer. You know he does this. So this is not a spoiler. But you see this, and then it's just a battle between like the syndicate trying to find out what the fuck happened to their boy, and then them trying to hide it and protect their daughter. Like, it's fun. It sounds like that. It sounds like the Liam Neeson and John Wick and fucking wow, what's John Wick's actor's name? I forget. I feel bad because I fucking really Keanu Reeves. There we go, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves and Liam Neeson movies where they're going to protect people. So that sounds fun. It just sounds less actiony and more methodical and prodding, which I'm perfectly fine with. I like those type of things. I like those type of stories. So I'm completely fine with the whole prodding sense like that. So we'll see how that goes. But I do predict that this might be a pretty good sleeper hit for the spring 2023 season. So Galaxy Next Door is going to be the next anime that we're going to be reviewing for the spring 2023 season. I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't think much of this anime. I was still planning on watching it regardless of what happens in that trailer, because the premise to me is already really interesting. Anything that has to do with the creation of manga or anime in any sorts, I'm usually very drawn to that. That's why I really loved Girls Month no Zaki-kun and why I really like Izoku Ken. Both of those have to do with the dealing of manga and anime. Both of them mostly just the aspect of manga, but any kind of anime that focuses on the creation and the dwelling and the dealing and the process of manga and anime creation, I'm always going to have a favorite towards, because those are also really interesting, and it's nice to experience that, right? What I wasn't expecting was the main boy that we follow in this show getting an assistant, the assistant falling asleep, and her having some fucking white thing, and because of it, they go to another different galaxy. Now, I know physically they don't go to a different galaxy. It's like a weird connection thing. The problem is, I didn't have a translation for the trailer, so I have I don't have any god lickety split what idea of what the hell happens in this. What's the process? What is happening? What's the wording? What in God's good heavens and good Lord compels it? What is the white thing? Is it just a random strand? Why does he panic because of it? I have no clue. I'm more watching this for the answers, because the sheer confusion of all of it makes me baffled beyond belief. Like, legitimately, like, this is the one I sat there, I had to take a double take, because I thought it was a strand, but it didn't look like a strand. It looked like a tail, and the dude freaked out for no reason. I still don't know what it is. I'm still baffled. So I gotta wait till like the 8th of April to watch this first episode and see what happens, because God knows what this could entail. It could be the most whatever thing, and me not just me overreacting and not having any idea what this is, or this could be the most like crazy, just like freaking stuff. I can't curse because of YouTube's weird policy, but you get what I mean. Like this piqued my interest so high because I don't know. I just don't know. And I think I'm setting myself up to failure because I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's nothing. But for the love of the Lord in heaven, Jesus Christ. Up next, we have Summoned to a World for a Second Time. This is, I think, the last anime in the whole list that I actually read the manga for. Not only did I actually read the manga for, but along with Mashle, I actually did a whole review of this on my channel. And this was on, I think, I don't know if it's verbatim, but I know this was an anime that was just okay, or a manga that was just okay. The premise of it and the foundation of it sounds interesting, where a dude gets summoned to another world to be a hero. The dude gets so powerful that the king says, fuck that, we're not having you around, and pushes him back to his other world, where he has to live his life off as a kid all over again, but then gets summoned back to that same world and has like a whole vengeance of just wanting to get back into this world and try, or get back into it, but get back at the world for what it did. And like, he's a freaking huge perv. Like, there's at one point I remember in the manga that one of the people that he used to have as like a really close companion, she acts all like, I don't know what the word is. I think it's astute. Or very like proper and stuff like that, because she's like one of the strongest warriors in the village. But then once she realized that the dude is actually the dude, she like freaks out. I said no spoilers, but honestly, I don't care for this manga, and I won't care for the anime. I'm only putting it on this list because it's very rare, despite it happening 3 times when I watch this. It is very rare for me to actually have an anime that I read the manga to in a pretty deeply for the most part. This doesn't happen. So this kind of just doing it as a celebration for me actually doing something consistently for myself, but I kind of wish I did this with an anime or a manga that's not this, because this is going to be very boring. Now, the voice acting might carry it, because God knows the animation isn't, the animation for this is not, it's not going to be the animation, it's not going to be that. It's not, trust me, I've seen it, it's not, it's whatever. It's whatever. It's not MAPPA, it's not Production ID, it's not Studio Bones, it's not anything like that. So it's not going to be great. But it's also whatever. It's also, it's going to be the most whatever. It's going to be the most whatever. There's a reason why it's like slow low on here, because it was talked about enough to get an anime adaptation, but like it's whatever. It's whatever. I don't know. I feel like I'm being really mean towards this particular anime for no reason. It's just, I have to talk about it again when I already didn't care for it. Like, this is the one I actually stopped because I was just like, I don't care for reading this one. So, I don't know. If you remember the short-lived version of the Blue Room Recording Studio, that's when I reviewed this. And it was just a whatever show. A whatever manga, it's going to be a whatever show. Next anime we'll be talking about is Heavenly Delusion. And I think this looks really cool. And I'm upset that it's this low on the Mal list. It looks cool. The design of it looks cool. The story, the synopsis and the way the trailer put it, leaves it to be like kind of vague, but I'm getting very strong Promised Neverland vibes from this, just minus potentially a lot of death and minus
all the kids being smart. Also potentially. I don't know if the kids are going to be super smart. They don't seem super smart. And they don't do anything to make me seem they're not super smart. They just don't seem super smart. They seem savvy, like any kid would in the apocalypse. Like the fucking girl from Last of Us, or like the characters from Promised Neverland. They just, well, not them, no, they're smart. Or like any apocalyptic story with kids in it, like take Sakui Bisco, for example, where there was a place where kids, it was only kids that lived there, and they just kind of knew how to survive and do all that stuff. That's what I kind of mean. That's what the kids are. They know, like, survival tactics and all that stuff, but they just don't seem, like, intelligibly smart, like high math IQ type smart, but they seem savvy in the terms of they could probably know how to make a knife and kill you. They just won't know how to divide fractions. And in their defense, neither do I. But that's neither here nor there. I like this. This looks interesting. I think it's going to be another one of those sleeper hits. Probably not as strong as other anime that I said would be sleeper hits. But I think this is one of those anime where it won't be that seasonal anime where people are just like, yep, it was an anime. This will be one that kind of stands out somewhat in the seasonal anime. It'll creep up on people as like oh, this is an anime. Cool. Like more of like, impressed, but not super impressed. I mean, it can. Like, there's not much super big shit. Well, I say that. Just, we're not watching a lot of sequels, unfortunately, because a lot of the sequels that are on here, I just haven't watched, and I meant to watch some of them, and they didn't come through. But this one, I could see at least getting some flowers, getting some credit for at least being a pleasant show to look at. Watch this show be a fucking abysmal, and I just don't get anything right. I swear if that's the case, I'm going to be angry at myself. But Heavenly Delusion, I think has some good shoulders on it, a good hand on the shoulders, and I think it's going to do well. I think it'll be a pretty decent anime. Next up on the docket that we have is KamiKatsu, Working for God in a Godless World. Honestly, I think this one could be good, but I'm also potentially getting summoned to the world for a second time vibes where foundationally, this idea could really work and could be really fun, but it might just be boring. The only thing that would put it, I know that will put it above it, and I question how far we're going to go. I question how far we will stray from actual God with this show, because it is in fact an ecchi. We at least have to do one. After Inukai's dog, I don't know why, I hate you guys, but that one became really popular. That one just became my most popular video series. I hate all of you for it, but you guys want the ecchis. We're just gonna talk about ecchis. I hate it, I don't want it. This is the most interesting ecchi, because all the other ones are just kind of boring. This is the most interesting ecchi. And this one, unfortunately, it has a lollipop. I don't know how else to explain it. It has a lollipop. Like, the premise of it didn't actually seem like too bad. Like, it was a dude who got isekai into a whole different world because the basically worshiping a god killed him, and then now he's in a world where there's no god, and he's kind of chill with it. And he was just like, oh, dude, this is one of those isekais. I'm gonna be lit. I'm gonna be a god. I'm gonna be like a beast mode guy. But it's one of those. He fell more into like the Farmville isekai, not like the destructo fucking badass isekai. But he's enjoying it still because it's just like, you know what? I'm not a strong magical guy. I don't have all the women. I don't have all the money. But I got some people who I enjoy being with. They love me. I love them. And honestly, I'm enjoying my life. Then, apparently he finds out that one of the rules of the land is that they get fucking murked for no reason whatsoever. So he's just like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that, homie. Your rules are stupid. And so funny enough, he like remembers what his dad said. Or I assume that's his dad. I don't know. It was a big black guy. That's the best way that I can describe that to you. But regardless of that, his dad, who I assume is his dad, was telling him like, oh, God would always be with you. And so he's just like, oh, fine, if there is a God and God is with us, then maybe this God can potentially help me. It does. She does. She hops from a whole different world to help him
And then she's basically like, you're gonna bring God into this book. It's the Crusades. It's the Crusades. It's the Crusades. It's basically the Crusades. It's sexy Crusades. It's lolicon Crusades. It's weird lolicon Crusades. I don't know how else to explain it to people. This is what I get. Because think about it. A man who didn't believe in God has been approached by God and had been told by this God that you were going to bring God into this godless land. Does that not sound like some crusades, manifest destiny, whatever, to some weird purging of religion shit? Regardless, it's just another anime for me to be bad at. And I'm hoping that the premise is at least interesting, because I don't think it's going to be another Inukai's Dog. I don't think that's the case. Inukai's Dog was a special thing that made me want to blow my brains out, which I still haven't finished because I need to do the winter wrap-up. And that I don't want to do because I know that isn't involved in it. But I have to, because you hate me, my audience hates me, and God hates me. So we're gonna have to just do it. Like I said, we'll just have to see how far we stray away from God this time. Ironic, because the show is about a God, but I guess we'll see. Next anime that we're going to be talking about is Skip and Loafers. I cannot explain to you why I have this anime on this list. And it's not a surprise. It's not like I'm hiding a secret or anything. It's not anything complicated like that. Have you ever had those things, those gut feelings? You look at an anime, whether it's a trailer or something like that. You read the premise, you see it, you look at it, right? And you look at a clip. And you sit and you look at it and you just sit there in silence, processing everything you're watching. And by the time the clip is over, by the time everything's been said and done, everything's been whatever, you sit there to yourself, you think about everything, and you say, this show seems like something that resonates with me. I don't know what it is. I don't know what compelled me to stop, right? Because it is the most like, it looks like the most whatever anime. It looks bland. The animation is like, it's nice to look at, but it's nothing like that pops off. The story is just going to be a typical slice of life. Nothing about this anime seems special. But there's something about this anime that also tells me, Mise, watch this. Watch this because something about this anime might resonate with you. I don't know what it could be. I can't tell you. I have no idea. Just something in my body, something in my mind and in my gut. Looked at that trailer, looked at that preview. The preview that you are currently watching on your screen right now. Or the previews or whatever the fuck. And it said, pick this up. Watch this. This is an anime you should probably watch. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you guys why. All I know is that this is something that might resonate with me somehow. And we'll see. This will be the most interesting for me as a new anime to watch. Mainly because I want to know if there was something there. And if not, what aspect of the trailer made me? I don't know why. I can't explain it to you. But this is going to be probably like my little seasonal therapy session as to figuring out what the in God's green earth made me pick this up. But we're picking it up and it's part of the list. And our final anime that we will be watching for the 2023 spring season is Mahou Shoujo, Magical Girl Destroyers. This just seems like the most outlandish thing in this whole series compared to everything. Because it's all about, it's all about otaku culture being completely wiped out from society, right? And there are revolutionaries who are otakus themselves who are trying to bring it back. I don't know. I don't know. This seems like it could be good and it could be bad. it seems like it's at least over the top, and I like the art style a little bit. It looks cool. It like leans a little more into that Trigger design insanity type thing, which is probably why there's like some resonance with me to like want to watch this and want to hope that this is good in a sense. Because if it is, hey, thumbs up. That's a good thing for all of us, right? That's a thumbs up. That's a A-okay. That's a bibbity bop. Let's go. But obviously it's so low, and I don't even know if this is the original or maybe it's sourced out somewhere. I'm not 100% sure, but the premise is at least interesting. The art style at least looks cool. So I'm willing to give it a shot. There's not much else that I can say just because it's the only thing that really gravitated me towards it is the hope that it's outlandish. So, I mean, we'll see. It could be whatever. If I had to predict, it might just be like an okay type thing. Like, I brought it up before, but it might be like Sakui's Bisco, where I sat there and I looked at it, I'm like, this is going to be the most outlandish thing. And, like, it was just, like, the most whatever. So that could totally be the case. Because we got a lot of that, where it's just good foundation, good idea, terrible execution. Well, in Sakui's Bisco case, I wouldn't say it's terrible execution. It was just not execution that lived up to the potential that it could do. But I hope that this does not do that. So we'll just have to see. And once again, thank you all for watching this new video. I know I haven't posted in a long time. I haven't posted in like 3 weeks to a month properly. I'm sorry, I've been very busy. But hopefully, starting from here on out, we will be having uploads on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. We will make sure to do that as best as we can, as well as just trying to be more consistent. But no more daily uploads. Daily uploads are no longer a thing. We're not doing that. That was too much. But I will implore you guys, if you like my projects, if you like all that, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let me know in the comments what you're excited for this spring 2023 season. Or if you think there's something that I should watch that won't be on the list that you think is interesting, let me know. I'm definitely going to try to at least catch up to some sequels. For example, I really want to watch specifically Birdie Wing and like the Weird Derby Show. I don't know why, but those two got sequels. These two have sequels this season that I do potentially want to watch, because those two shows sound outlandish as hell, but I want to watch it because they're weird and they're fun and they're goofy, and that's in the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that's all what anime sometimes has to be. It's just outlandish and goofy, and you get your shit done. Either ways, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.